I read the piece Alberto sent me about that all those moments which are real are so fleeting, are so rapidly coming and going. And I thought, well, perhaps that's also what Zen means. But not so much that the coming and going of all those short moments are a dream, but that the reality of things is so very short that you really get stuck in the dream very easily.
Is this moment just a dream? Why this moment is just like a dream?
It is like a dream.
Yeah. What is the difference between the moment of dreaming and this moment, which is just like a dream?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Is this moment just like a dream, or it's a dream? And when it's not a dream, what is the difference between this moment and a moment of dreaming?
No difference, I think.
But we call that a dream, and this is not a dream, right?
Right.
Is this moment a dream?
This moment is not a dream.
Really? What is the difference?
Not sure. The difference is the delusion or panya.
And the absolute truth. In a dream, there is no sense of object, process at all. But here and now, there are different doorways arising one after the other, that's all. But in a dream, it's only thinking. So now, at moment of thinking without seeing, is it just like a dream?
Yes. So?
Not waking up yet? Would anyone like to be in the dream all the time? Or just Dhamma? See, different Dhammas. When
yes.
there is no doorway, the sense doorway at all in between, that are just moment of dreaming, thinking, very fantasy, because it's not just like thinking after seeing and hearing, thinking right now. Some people would like to live in the dream, thinking about whatever is there. But as long as it's not true, because it's not after the sense process, it's only thinking. So thinking, no matter when, is thinking. It depends on conditions to think about very fantasy or not so fantasy.
I think it's hard for my mind to see that the dreaming is an illusion. The mind wants to see the dream as a reality.
And is this moment not illusion?
This moment is not an illusion. Because it's a reality. But it's not seen. It's a reality.
But that is now gone forever. Just like a dream. Different thinking. Sorry.
Yes, it's gone.
In the sense that it's not there anymore. It's just like a dream.
I understand now. Yes. Thank you.
But
so
during a dream at night time, it's just thinking of the fantasy on and on and on and on, one moment after another, without any interruption for sense experiences.
And those sense experiences are results of karma.
The seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching are the results of karma, and the two chittas that follow those moments are results of karma, vipaka chittas. Then there are the kusala or akusala chittas, usually lost in the fantasy instantly.
But not in the case of the kusala chittas, presumably.
Can we say then that this fantasizing is papancha?
Excuse me, going back to what Ajahn just said, both the conventional world and dreams are illusions. And so I think maybe we need to bring up here the difference between reality and concepts that Mark might be interested in listening to.
So it's not so much what the concepts are, but what the citta is in terms of whether it's kusala or akusala.
Can you say that when the thinking is always about concepts, but when the mind understands that the concepts are concepts and not realities, then it's kusala thinking?
We often say that one cannot know the quality of the citta by the situation.
Right. And what's in the case of the kusala thinking, what is the nature of the thinking in that case?
I think that's a really good question for Tanajan.
It's just daily life, see, because we heard about the development of understanding, the development of satipatthana, but no condition enough to be there at any moment so very often. That's why what prolongs that understanding of such level is loba, piti, and mana. That's all very natural. No matter when, it's there. Even Sotapanna, see, they have different accumulation. That's why some can become so Sakatagami very soon, and some need more life too, depending on conditions. And what is that which is what you call papancha, prolong the enlightenment, not so very soon as other because of this lopa, diti, and mana, even right now, or when we enjoy so much about this and that, at that moment, what about conditions for right understanding when it's not enough developed? But when it's there, it has to be unexpected. It means that there's less and less attachment because of panya is there strong enough not to mind at all at what moment or what object by conditions. So the understanding of no self, anatta, and sunyata is firmer, more confident, and clearer, stage by stage. That's why one can understand one's own accumulation. No one can do because actually all by conditions, depending on conditions. And panya develops on and on, develops all degrees of parami, because without parami, what can condition more understanding of this very moment? It has to be this moment how much understanding is there. Because when there's no understanding at this moment, how can there be understanding the other moment in the future? It has to be developed from this very moment too. That's why I listen with understanding, and it's there to condition more and more understanding later. When we talk about dreaming or fantasy world, it means the world which is not the moment of enlightenment yet. That's all. must be dream, like a dream, just like a dream, because not understanding the truth of this very moment. That's why we can understand what it's meant in Tipitaka about illusion or fantasy or nimitta or false. It's not true because it does not appear as it is. Until moment of understanding it, when it appears that it's beginning to wake up, until it's fully waking up. The dream ends, so life ends exactly the same, but the processes and the bhavanka are there from moment to moment. That's all in life. But as long as are still the words of truth, there can be moment of considering wisely to understand the truth of what is there now, beginning to develop the understanding of that which usually appears as something. But when there's less attachment to the nimitta of things, there can be moment of beginning to develop understanding of just one characteristic of a reality. No matter it is rupa, we don't have to say it because its characteristic appears as that visible object only, see, until it's only visible object. It doesn't mean trying so hard to make it appear as that, but the understanding that actually it's only nimitta in one's life, in a day, in a moment, each moment. When they do not appear as they are as different moments of experiencing an object through eyes and then mind doors and then ears and then on and bhavanka in between. Endlessly until nama and rupa appear as it is. And so true that it's not there anymore. Just there. No thing at all when there's no mind or process. And this life would be forgotten when there's next life. Completely gone. Is that not just like a dream?
Ajahn, in the case of Arya, even in thinking with tanha and mana, there's also the possibility of understanding in between. There's no loss in proliferation, not like a dream as when we sleep.
No understanding anymore. But it's carried away by accumulation of lopa and other kilesa. To understand that when it's not enlightenment yet, it must be just like a dream. Believe that the dream is so true, while one does not wake up yet.
We read in the text that citta, consciousness, is like an illusion, maya, because it doesn't have any substance or core and it can't be grasped. It's gone instantly by the time lobha arises. So it's the illusion that takes it for being something or my experience. So the enlightened one no longer has the illusion of something there or someone.
And this is the value of studying Dhamma, the truth of whatever is there now. To wake up from the dream of nimitta and illusion.